Good morning EDJ, welcome everyone to your newest English radio broadcasting in the French Riviera. I am Léa Dutrouilh, your host for your weekly morning EDJ show. Politics, sports, science, cinema and more, trust me, you'll find your guilty pleasure. Let me now present you your two weekly journalists, Nina Royet Galeazzi. How are you today?
I'm fine, Léa, thank you.
And Mathieu Marenc, what about you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm great. All relaxed today?
Yeah.
Well, it's right now 8 a.m., your news flash of the week right after the jingle. Train tragedy in Norway, passenger derailment leaves 1 dead, 4 injured. A routine train ride turned fatal in Norway as a passenger train derailed, claiming 1 life and leaving 4 others critically injured. The accident, which occurred in challenging weather conditions, has sent shockwaves through the nation, raising concerns about rail safety. As the investigation unfolds, officials are left with pressing questions about what caused the derailment. Missing Santiago, family vanishes amid feminicide investigation in Seine-et-Marne. The mystery surrounding the disappearance of young Santiago and his parents deepens, with authorities fearing the worst. As the search intensifies, investigators are also dealing with a tragic feminicide in the region, casting a dark shadow over their efforts. A Brazilian woman was stabbed to death yesterday. Upon their arrival, the police discovered the father of the family and main suspect hanging in the cellar, said prosecutor Jean-Baptiste Bladier. He was then hospitalized and his prognosis remains engaged. Macron steps up, €100 million pledged for Lebanon at international conference. As Lebanon grapples with an unprecedented crisis, French President Emmanuel Macron has committed a staggering €100 million in aid during an international conference in Paris. The aid package aims to tackle Lebanon's dire humanitarian challenges, from food insecurity to crumbling healthcare. With global leaders gathering to address Lebanon's spiraling woes, Macron's decisive leadership has raised the stakes, urging Lebanese officials to implement critical reforms. The road to Paris 2024 has hit a troubling snag, as 7 people were arrested for cyber-harassing the artistic director of the Olympics opening ceremony. The suspects bombarded the director with hateful messages online, crossing the line from criticism to criminal behavior. Picnic panic, leopard on the loose attacks 20 people in India. A relaxing day out turned into a scene from a horror movie in India's Maharashtra state as a rogue leopard stormed the picnic area, injuring over 20 people. Forest officials are on high alert, desperately hunting the leopard as villagers remain on edge, fearing another ambush. Swimming in glory, Marchand and Ponty tie for gold in South Korea. In a stunning turn of events at the World Cup in Incheon, France's Léon Marchand and Switzerland's Neo Ponty made waves by tying for first place in the 100-meter individual medley. Both swimmers clocked an identical time, setting off a dramatic finish that electrified the crowd. The historic tie marks another impressive feat for Marchand, cementing his reputation as one of the sport's top athletes. The weather is about to take a wild turn in southern France as meteorologists warn of an imminent seasonal episode. Following days of pleasant sunshine, the skies are now threatening torrential rains, particularly over the Cevennes and surrounding regions. Emergency services are on standby as authorities urge residents to stay alert. Well, now to go on the political sphere, Mathieu, what's the current situation in the United States?
It's the final countdown. I'm not talking about the song from Europe, but about the American presidential election. 11 days before the most crucial and unpredictable presidential election in American history, elections that could reshape the future of the world and the United States. On November the 5th, the eyes of the world will be riveted on the confrontation between Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, two personalities representing not only opposite political ideologies, but also two radically different visions of the country. It's been a tight race in recent weeks. At present, according to a polling average reported by the New York Times, Kamala Harris has a slim lead over Donald Trump, 49% against 48%. However, this reflects a drop in support for Harris, who just a week earlier was estimated at 50% against 47%. But you need to be careful with those polls. As we know, it is not the national popular vote that determines the next occupant of the White House. It is a complex system of electoral college that will elect the future president. This system will once again play a central role in determining the outcome, just as it did in 2016. Donald Trump lost the popular vote to Hillary Clinton by 2 points, but he won the presidency thanks to key victories in the key states. So it's the key states, the swing states, bitterly disputed territories that will swing the election. Indeed, 7 states, including Georgia, Arizona, and Pennsylvania, are now at the heart of the 2 campaigns. For example, Pennsylvania is proving to be the key state in the election. Whoever wins it often goes to also win the White House. With its 19 electoral votes, it is the biggest of the swing states. The margins here are very small, with Harris holding a tenuous 0.2 lead. The state has a habit of swinging between the parties from the Republican to the Democrats. That is why the 2 candidates are doing their utmost to win over voters. And as one of the closest elections in history approaches, it's clear that everyone will count, and as always, surprises may happen. Could an October surprise tip the race one way or another? We've already seen unexpected twists and turns change the course of the election. And anything is possible. Let's find out on November 5 who will be the 47th President of the United States.
Thanks a lot, Mathieu. As part of our broadcasting show, every week we will try to help you discover businesses within the French Riviera that represent your cultural heritage. Yesterday we went to the British Smith's doors in Antibes, a store full of, as it said in the name, British local food and products. Here's a little report and interview of Rebecca Smith, who once arrived in France, was never able to say goodbye to Nice and its surroundings.
Years ago I came to do grape picking with a friend, and then after the grape picking we came to Antibes and we were on a campsite for a week's holiday, and that's where I met my husband. I've lived in France for 32 years. Some people say to me that you're more French than you are English anymore, but I think since I've had the shop I've sort of almost gone back to being a bit more English.
This is with her husband Frank Weber that they opened the British supermarket on May the 9th, 2023.
A lot of the products are still the best-selling products are the ones I grew up with, so that was quite easy. The only thing I have to do as well is not just think of myself, think of other people, what they want as well. That's quite hard when I'm doing the ordering. We started off with not as many products as we've got now. But then we added to it as and when customers were saying, can you get such and such a product? And if I could get it, I get it in. And if it sells, we carry on. Yeah, I think we've probably doubled the number of products we've got since we've been open, which is not quite a year and a half yet. We have to have cheddar. We're not allowed to run out of cheddar. And like I say, in France, you've got so many lovely cheeses, but when you want a piece of cheddar, you just want a piece of cheddar. We're really surprised with the local customers, the French customers as well that come in. I mean, some of them, it's quite funny because they come in and they just buy things and they don't actually know what it is, but they just want to try. And then others that have also been to England and like products that they've tried in England, and then come and buy them here. But we're really surprised at the amount of the local support that we've got from the French customers. But I think they particularly like the English breakfast. So there's a lot of bacon, sausage, and of course the baked beans.
The British shop is located at 26 Boulevard du Gommier. Now, Nina, let's move on to what you watched in the movies last night. It's about Les Miller, so it's time for your cinema segment.
Les Miller, What a Woman. This movie is about a determined woman who fights to preserve the very essence of her profession, revealing the truth. This biopic is the story of a war photographer played by Kate Winslet, also known as Rose. You may know Les Miller from her portraits of the Jewish genocide and her astonishing self-portraits in the bathtub of Hitler, who committed suicide the same day in Berlin. I was deeply affected by this masterpiece because she's an audacious journalist. She followed a single logic, the truth, and nothing but the truth. Her photographs are the first to reveal the concrete horror of the camps. They answer the question that everyone is asking: what happened to those who were forced to live on the trains? I am thinking in particular of the one showing 2 soldiers opening a lorry full of beat-up corpses. When she sends her historical photos to her editor, she urges, "I beg you to believe this is true." She is also a role model for women. She takes responsibility for herself and makes her career a priority because that's how she feels useful. She has had the strength to impose herself in an environment, the war, where women are not welcomed, willing to do anything to bear witness to the horrors of the Second World War. She undoubtedly suffered from what is known as post-traumatic stress disorder. The atrocities she witnesses in Germany haunted her and drove her into depression and alcoholism. Photography then became little more than a memory, a passing fad that was little evoked, if not downplayed. Lee Miller kept her work secret until her death. 60,000 negatives, 20,000 original prints, letters, articles hidden away in an attic, well hidden so as not to stir up ghosts. In this movie, you will see Love, her son dedicated his life to recognizing his mother's work. This is a poignant movie that recounts the horror of this war, an absolute must-see.
Thank you, Nina. As it is almost the end of our show, let's debate about an unusual fact that happens somewhere in the world. Today, let's dive into a special Spanish habit, siestas. Do you see where I'm getting at?
Yeah.
Indeed, Spain is the land of tapas, paella and flamenco, but it's also the land of the siesta. The siesta dates back centuries to the agricultural region of Spain, demanding farm work, and the suffocating heat of the midday made the afternoon break almost unsocial. In summer, it was not uncommon to see the fields deserted during the hottest few hours when the workers retired for a break. Today, the practice of siesta has evolved. However, it remains an integral part of the Spanish culture. In cities like Madrid and Barcelona, shops often close between 2 and 5 p.m., allowing employees to go home and enjoy this moment of relaxation. I think this practice is particular and not very useful. The siestas causes a long break in the middle of the day, making businesses and services unavailable during the afternoon. This disrupts the normal flow of work and makes it harder for Spain to stay connected with other European countries, which follow a continuous workday with no long pauses.
I learned a fun fact. The artist Salvador Dali also took naps. Anyway, Spaniards work slightly more than the European average, 37.8 hours a week, according to the European Commission. So I think it's understandable that they are tired. But that means just less personal time, in my opinion. A nap in the middle of the day kind of isolates you, and as long as you're awake, you might as well be doing other things like reading or like going to the gym, I don't know, like to make that time productive. And when everyone's busy, taking a break from the world by sleeping means disconnecting. And what's more, those who take siestas represent only 16.2% of the population, so it's not that much.
All right. Well, just before I'm saying my point of view, I just forgot to put you the jingle of our special debate segment. So just hear it a little bit. All right. So excuse me for this, but in my opinion, siestas can still be globalized somehow. But I don't still really understand why people are getting mad at this function. That's not really a bad thing, to just take a nap till the moment you eat and the moment you go back to work. You can just have a little nap about like 30 minutes, it's okay. So maybe not 2 hours as they used to do it, but I don't know what you're thinking about it. It's just about 30 minutes, it's okay, right?
Yeah, I think so, but in French, do you think that it's gonna work? Because we work a lot from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. and I don't think so it's gonna work. We are lazy also.
Yeah, but then you just need to legalize all those things to work with the law and how our country is working on this. But I think for me, maybe, 30 minutes, but people are sometimes taking a nap on their own, We kind of all do our own siestas, right? What about
it
you,
can be
Nina?
a choice from companies or employees to take their naps or not.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, myself, I don't want to sleep
At work?
in the afternoon.
Okay.
Night is for that.
Okay, but taking naps is good for staying sane.
I know, but I don't like having a break in my work day.
Okay.
I want to be as productive as I can be, and I feel like if I sleep, I'm gonna be more tired. I don't know.
At least it's a good thing you don't sleep during our radio broadcasting show.
You're right.
100%. All right, so here we are. This is the end of our Good Morning show. Thanks for listening to us. Stay tuned and very safe till the next episode. See you soon et bonne journée.